All right, we got an amazing comedian here for you today, and Michael Longfellow. He was on NBC's Bring the Funny, which was a show about who was the best comedians. He's a super funny guy. He's been on Conan. We recently did some beach comedy shows together, and without further ado, please welcome Michael Longfellow.
What's up, dude?
What's up? There he is.
Am I sideways?
You're sideways.
Fuck.
No,
right.
I meant like you were good. You were perfect.
Oh, I'm good? All right, cool.
Yeah. A real podcast pro asked that first question, are my sideways?
In this new age.
Yeah.
Of virtual pods.
How you doing? You looking good? The backdrop
Thanks.
Looks cool?
Yeah, I cleaned my room up a little bit just for you. No.
Yeah. So we'll just start by telling people who you are. Who's Michael Longfellow?
Are we on right now?
We're on. We rock
Oh
and
my
roll.
God, you do it the Pete Holmes way.
Pete Holmes, yeah. Mark Maron.
Who's Michael Longfellow? Damn, bro, that's like that's deep. There's a lot of levels to that.
Yeah.
I'm a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
By trade. I'm a son, a brother, a stepson, a boyfriend. I'm Irish.
Nice. I'm Irish.
You're Irish?
Quarter.
I'm a little Welsh.
Yeah. I'm a little Welsh.
Wow, so deep. I mean, I'll keep going. A little German?
No German.
That's good. That's a good place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I always that was a weird question. Like, I remember in university, they would like ask you like, who are you? And if you'd said like, oh, I'm this, and they would be like, no, you're also a son, you're also this. They would like, it was this weird psychology class. I'm like, all right, take it easy. I'm all those things.
Yeah.
Like, what's your point?
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't take a psychology class in college.
Yeah, did you go to college out here or Arizona?
I went to Arizona State University. It was the only place I got into. And on a remedial basis, they made me move in a couple weeks early and do like an addition and subtraction math class.
Nice.
To prove that I could handle myself in a higher education setting.
Hey, but you're there and it was a party school.
Yeah, it worked out. I had some good time. I finished it online, but hey, that's the same degree. That prints out to the same degree.
What is it? I mean, that's what's great about LA. No one's like, what? Show me your degree. Like,
Definitely. Yeah, I wonder
gone.
every day why I went and if I shouldn't have gone and what the pros and cons were to going. But
now you learned how to learn, which is important.
I did. I learned how to learn. I learned how to live with people.
Mm-hmm.
I read Pride and Prejudice. All really great stuff.
Great stuff. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the pod is I find like you're kind of like in this very interesting place career-wise, which is like you did some very big stuff. Like you're on NBC's Bring the Funny, which was I guess like a stand-up reality show, like a competition.
Yeah, you
like
could.
American
That's a
Idol.
good way to. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit like I don't think that saying that's like who's the best is accurate because it's more like it's casting to create like an arc that has like, ups and downs. And it's not just like, hey, this is the best comedian any more than like this American Idol is the best singer. It's just like, that's just what worked out. And not to take it away from the winners or people go far. It's just like, it's just a thing. And you haven't been on it. You've seen the sausage being made. It's like a lot of like takes and like edits to make things look one way, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of long days where you end up working for 15 minutes, but you're there for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool to see TV get made. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to do it.
It's great. I mean, a lot of people have been on the pod who've done it. It's like, it's only a win-win. Like no matter what happens, it's like you have a national TV credit and you're like, yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I wish I thought of it that way while I was on the show. I was pretty sure if I got out the first round, I was like, it's over. You gotta move.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always do that. So I make myself the most nervous I possibly can.
Yeah.
For any situation. Yeah. That's just how my brain works.
So for you, it was kind of like it was all on the line and it was this or nothing?
Yeah, for some reason, but it was totally irrational and stupid.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it out of the first round. I
Yeah.
remember. But then you wait and you see people. You really do learn that it doesn't matter, because you'll see people that maybe got eliminated early on or made it far,
Yeah.
and people that got eliminated early on are doing bigger things than other. So yeah, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
But doing
Exactly.
it is the win. Yeah.
Exactly. Doing it is the win. There's probably some reserved opportunities for like the top
I'm
couple,
sure. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
that doesn't make or break their career any more than any one thing makes anyone's career nowadays. Like you do, I mean, you also did a Conan, right?
Yeah.
Which is great and that's huge. And but if you didn't do a Conan, you would still be successful, or you
Yeah,
would
I
do it
think things
next
will still
year,
be
or like
okay.
like things are just it used to be everything used to ride on like one bet, I feel like 10 or 20 years ago maybe. And like now it's
Yep.
like, oh, you don't get that thing. Hey, I've already got my podcast. I already got my other show. I'm already touring. I'm already doing reels videos. It's like,
Yeah, it's good and bad, I guess. I
yeah,
think it's mostly good because the artist has more control.
yeah,
But I mean, I've heard stories from like when I've gotten to open up for like dudes that were big back in the day,
yeah,
and they're just like, yeah, we all had 10, maybe 15 minutes, and you were famous,
yeah.
you know? And that sounds nice too.
It does sound
That
nice.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad deal either. But
Yeah. I mean, I
I
get,
guess end of the day,
yeah, I don't know
it's
about
better
you, but I
to.
get self conscious about doing jokes from like a year ago. And like,
Totally, man.
and people then were doing them like for a few years.
People, yeah, for a lifetime
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll also have that oh, I assume everyone in the show, they've seen my Conan and my
Yeah.
Bring the Funny stuff, so surely I can't do those jokes. But
Right.
no one's seen either of those things.
Yeah. That's happened to me so many times. And like, I'm like, oh God, I know half the people in this room. They've all heard my material. And
Yeah.
then I've had like one of those same people come up to you after the show and be like, well, I didn't know you had kids. I'm like, that's like half my act. And I
Mm-hmm.
know you've seen this like a million times. So it's like, that's how much people don't care about other people.
Yeah. And then I think of like when I'm off stage, I gotta show. I'm not really. I'm not watching really people. I'm kind of in my own little head.
Yeah.
But I'd never put that perspective onto other people.
Right. I think it's different. Like if you're on the road with somebody or like you're spending a lot of like specific time with them, then you're like, all right, I've probably seen it. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, just a one off show like 6 months ago, like, or there could be like, oh yeah, I remember part of it's usually like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, if it's a good joke, you'll laugh again.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll probably be a little better with some time.
Yeah. I saw a
You
pretty
know.
famous comedian last night do a joke that he had done maybe about a year ago, and it's one of his great jokes, and I still laughed. I was like, it was like a nice song. I'm like, oh, it's still a good joke.
That's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
I want it to be like a song that you can play a million times, but it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the Jerry Seinfeld model. Like he's the king of that, of just making jokes. You're like, you listen to him again, you're like, that was great.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. I did some Googling on you that you're much younger than I thought. Not because of looks or anything, just because of your maturity. You're so poised.
Really?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
mature.
wait. How do we thank you for saying that? How's my Google searches? How do I come up?
You came
Does it
out quite well because the first
yeah?
thing was like NBC Bring the Funny. I was like,
All
okay.
right.
Then it's like Conan. And then it
That's
went into
good.
like your bio. I was like, that's pretty good.
That's good to know. All right. Very nice. I'm pleased about that.
You're
So
killing
you thought I
it.
was older. How old did you think I was?
I thought you'd be like 30, 31.
Yeah.
Just because we
Well,
have a lot of mutual friends about that age.
true.
And you're also very, you seem very wise and confident.
I appreciate that. Comedians are like that, aren't they? They're either older than you thought or they're younger than you thought. I've never gotten someone's age right.
Yeah, it is. That's very true.
Yeah, I don't know what that is,
There's a little bit
but
of stunted maturity or excessive maturity you need to be like, all right, I'm going to make it in this insane industry, which pretty much gives you no money for many years. And
even when you're making it, it
even when you're
seems
making
to
it,
still give you no money.
and everything you do is you. Like if you don't write, nothing happens. If you don't perform, nothing
Yeah,
happens. If you don't,
yeah,
like the discipline is insane.
yeah. It's I mean, yeah, it's pretty. I guess you're right. That's probably helped a lot in my life. It's like my version of the military was comedy. And it
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I want to go out and get, like, I remember in college, I would, class would end and everyone's getting geared up to go have an amazing time and party and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, well, I have to stay sharp to go to this bar and
Yeah.
talk to these strangers for a few minutes.
Right.
And that probably saved me from a lot of trouble. I definitely still had my fun moments in college,
Yeah.
but that probably knocked down some of the risk of living the fast lifestyle.
It's overrated. I mean, especially once you get into like performing and stuff, you're like, oh, this is much. I mean, I'm speaking for me personally. Maybe you feel the same way, but it's much better than like getting drunk or like doing all those things. It's like you kind of
It's
cross
like the
over.
best drug.
It's the
Yeah.
best drug, and you also cross over to this other like plane almost. You're like, you kind of like see everything for what it is. It's like I felt like that in
That's a good
music a
way to
lot.
put
Like
it.
in
You
like
feel woke,
you feel woke in a
not to
way.
use
Like
that. Yeah.
it's like you know how like music. I worked in music for a long time, and it kind of ruined concerts for me because like I'm like I know how this is. Okay, I know what's gonna happen. This is. It's like you see this process made in the same way
Mhm.
that like we can watch comedy now, but now you know how to do comedy. You might be like that's funny or like ha, and then but like before you'd be in the audience just like dying.
Yeah. That's why it's so special whenever you do catch yourself laughing like you don't even do comedy.
Yeah.
I don't really even know what makes me laugh like that anymore. It's almost funnier to see a friend do very poorly on stage than do well,
Yeah.
like someone is funny,
Yeah.
but they're just having a rough time up there.
Yeah.
That might be something that
They're
makes
sweating
me
up
laugh
there.
harder.
You're like, oh.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things because we've all been there.
Yeah. Or some really good crowd work bits can be funny.
Hmm.
Or you see like an Ian
Honestly,
Bag.
I was thinking about this the other day. Being mean is so funny.
So
I don't
funny.
know why that it's a shame,
Yeah.
but if you're just with a buddy and I don't know, maybe you're at Starbucks and you notice someone and he says a little really mean thing about the person.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how funny that is. It's terrible, but yeah, that's pretty funny.
I mean, what most of crowd work is like kind of making fun of or being mean to
Pretty
that
much
person.
roasting
Roasting,
people. And
yeah.
it works whether it's good or not. I know a guy who does where'd you get that shirt? Kohl's. Crushes every time. He'll do it I was with him the whole weekend, 6 shows. Different shirt every show. Nice shirts,
Yeah.
unnice shirts. Doesn't matter the shirt. If he was like, where'd you get that? Kohl's. Everyone's like, God damn it, that's funny.
Yeah. You're like, ah, I
Screw
like
that guy's shirt.
I knew it. Kohl's does suck.
Yeah.
Oh man. And it's
He could be in a tuxedo. People still be like,
right. It's
yeah.
a Kohl's tux. That is
Yeah.
funny because it's like part of you is like, it's kind of like an easy laugh, but then you're like, all right, I mean, what you're gonna say something to this guy,
Yeah.
or you got to have those little tricks to get out of weird situations or deal with drunks and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Drunks are pretty easy. You can just kind of say what they say back to you.
Yeah, like rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, if you just repeat what they say, it usually works really well.
Yeah.
Because they'll say something stupid.
It's always interesting when you get them to a point of engagement which you like, and then they go too far. You're like, all right, I gotta. Now you're done, sir.
Yeah, I like that. And if they still have a good attitude about it too, if they are like, oh, I was going a little too far,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
isn't every time, which isn't even half the time probably, but that's the best. Yeah, and then they come
Yeah.
up to you after the show. They're like, I'm sorry, but you're like,
yeah,
it's good. You weren't actually. You
weren't-
added to the show,
yeah.
kind of.
Kind of. I've had people come up and be like, "Oh, I was helping." I'm like, "You were not
That,
helping.
yeah.
That is like you're insane. If you
Mhm.
think you were helping, you're mostly everyone hates you."
They always are insane, aren't they? They're always visibly the craziest person in the room.
Yeah.
They have like 2 different shoes on or something. Like they're just crazy people that
Yeah.
interrupt shows.
This one girl in the front row, she had like 2 different alcohols, and she was like, every time someone said something, she's like, "Yeah, no way. Oh yeah, it's so true." And at some point, someone I can't remember who it was. They just lost it. They're like, "You are the worst." They just laid in. It got mean, and he kind of sacrificed the rest of his set
Yeah.
to get that mean. But it was funny.
Yeah, it worked.
Like what you said, being mean is funny.
Being mean is funny. I've also seen it go where someone is too mean,
Yeah.
and it's awkward.
Yeah.
You know, feels like you're at a friend's house and their dad's yelling at them or something.
Right, right, right. It's that,
Yeah.
that little tightrope when you're walking and you just cross over and now you got to come back next week. But you ran a few shows in LA, so like I think one at Comedy Club, right? With Neil
I
Grosh.
ran a show at Wino Vino.
Yeah, the Comedy Club with an
Oh,
H.
that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot
Yeah.
I forgot they called it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did with Neil, and then we started another show at a body piercing place. That was pretty cool before the world ended.
Yeah. Body piercing.
Yeah, it was like this really nice high end like body piercing and tattoo place. Like a gorgeous, I don't know, just a very gorgeous space.
Yeah.
And we somehow got the owner. He contacted Neil and we started doing a show there. I don't know, man. I kind of hate running comedy shows.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know why I do it. Every time I get there, I'm like, I fucking hate this the whole week. I'm like,
Yeah.
God dang it. But I do. I mean, it is fun at the end of the show. Whether it was a good or bad one, I do seem to like it at the end of the show. But yeah. There's little payoff.
Yeah. Right up until the moment of the show, if it's the show I'm running, I don't want to do it. I'm almost like, can you just do this for me? Can I leave?
Yeah, right. What? But we keep doing it. Why is that?
Yeah.
It just feels like a thing I should be doing. You know, it's like, well, I have the time, so we might as well.
And you get like a guaranteed stage time, especially nowadays, which is hard to find.
True.
And it's like I like the after show. It's like, oh, we did it, and there's like some camaraderie and like,
I love the after show.
I like building a good show that people had a good time at. But I mean, I think ideally, I'm speaking for me, like if I never had to run a show again, I wouldn't do it. It'd be fine. Like I wouldn't care. And like the 9 months off I took from running a show was great. Didn't miss that part of it. But now that
I have not missed that once. I've missed everything else, but I haven't missed the running of the show.
Yeah, and booking, and then you stress about like, oh, there's only 4 people RSVP'd. What does that mean?
Yeah, dude.
How did you guys get people out to the comedy? That's a hard place to get people to come to. The parking.
It was a lot of the parking.
Yeah.
Oh, the parking. Why even make a parking lot if you're going to have 4 spaces in it, Let's just do street parking. It was a lot of bothering of friends and coworkers at first. And then we did start getting people that would come regularly without us asking them, which was nice. And that room's so small that if you can get 15 people in there, you can have a pretty decent time.
Oh, yeah, you're rocking with 15 in there. 10 is fine.
We had one show where I think only like 3 people came or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was you just hate to see it. You hate to be attached to it. You hate to see it.
Right. There's more comedians than audience.
You want to apologize to these comedians that came out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think about that sometimes.
The 3-person show.
Yeah, I just have my eyes open in bed at night. I just think of that 3-person show.
Yeah. I had a 5-person one at the Improv once, and that was like, yikes.
That's a bigger room. That hurts more.
And it was a lab, but like it was still like...
The lab is can be a tough place to get hot.
Yeah, it can get hot. It's just, it's just, it's one of those things. It's hard.
Yeah.
But it's also like at that time, there was so much competition for shows, and there's starting to be more, but like, it's just hard to get people to come out.
Well, I think your show is known as one of the better shows around town.
Oh, the Comedy Bunker has some good. It's got
a good reputation there.
Yeah, but now it's starting to be hard again. To be honest, like it's not.
I mean,
it's not what it was. Like
yeah,
before,
there's
it was just
be
like no problem. Yeah. But we came off like a pretty insane one, like, and it was outdoors, and I would put it up as like one of the best, even considering all the ones that used to be inside. So.
Really?
It can be done. Yeah. It was just everything just locked into place, and it was just a good lineup, good show, good flow. I actually had a good time on stage, which is rare.
Yeah.
As the like, I did like I asked like who's been here before, and it was only one person. I was like, oh yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a
So I'm
pretty
like,
nice feeling.
I had tightened up my. I basically threw out a bunch of jokes and tightened it up into 15. I was like, this is my best 15, and I'm gonna do it. And I did it last week, and I was like, I was so happy I did that because I'm so always so reluctant to do it on my own show material, except for
Yeah.
like the new stuff. But I was like, let me just go fire through this, and I'm so glad I did. It felt really
Nice.
good to be able to be like, all right, this is good,
Yeah.
as opposed
Oh
to
yeah.
like the more like we did the beach show where it's like I have my notepad and I'm like, is this
Man, that
anything?
was
Like, is this?
that was loud out there. That was windy.
It was windy. It just felt like I was bombing the whole time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I did that Comedy Store window, which also feels like you're
How was
bombing.
that?
You feel like
Does it
you're
feel like you're
bombing the
bombing the
whole
whole time?
time. You're like, what? I mean, maybe I was, but like,
I've done a few of the drive-through ones, and that's what it feels like. You
yeah,
just can't. I mean, when you tell a joke and no noise comes towards you, your instinct is to feel badly and
yeah,
like panic, kind of. But at these ones, you just have to almost like be like, "I'll pause for laughter here. I'm sure they're laughing,"
yeah.
and that's insane.
It is insane. Which
I've done
drive
like 45 minutes on one of those,
on a
and it
drive-in?
was just yeah, it was basically a monologue. I might as well have been in front of a mirror. I just kind of just trusting the process. That's where the punchline is.
Yeah.
I'll pause.
Did you
They
feel
flashed
good
it
after, or were you like not unsure?
No, I didn't feel good. I haven't talked to anyone who's done those shows and has felt great or like good after. It was nice to do. Don't get me wrong. I would do
Yeah.
100 more. I'll do any sort of show in any environment really, but
Yeah, book them.
yeah, but it it didn't feel good.
Yeah. I saw one guy do crowd work with the car horns, and that was interesting and funny, and I got a
That's a good
reaction.
take. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But a lot of
Yeah,
it,
I bet
like,
people are going to start getting good at it.
yeah,
How to perform to these Toyotas and these Hyundais.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of what it was. He was integrating the different sounds of the horns, and I'm like, you're on to. I mean, if this lasts, like, you're on to like a really good opening crowd work bit here.
I'm actually jealous right now. That's a really good.
Yeah,
That's a really good premise.
right. It's gonna be the new So You Dating. It's like So You Toyotaing. Do you ever think? Do you leave LA to do these shows like outside of like for cars and stuff, or are you kind of like mostly staying in town?
No, I leave LA. I'm from Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and I started there, so I can always go back there and get some time and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I feel like even during normal times, most of my shows are outside of LA.
Mm.
I was on the road a bunch before this all went down, and then I'd come back to LA for like the week, maybe like Monday through Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd be somewhere else.
Well, that's where you got to make your money because the LA shows are mostly spot based.
Yeah, it really is. If you're going to make money from just doing stand up, you have to be on the road for sure.
Yeah. I thought about converting my show to being just a headliner show, to be like, all right, if you want to do the show, you can headline it. But then it's like, it kind of shifts some of the responsibility onto the comic a bit, but also now it's a real like spot with real money. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about that as a comedian? Like to do that
To
in
have
LA,
like a legit headliner show
like
in LA,
LA.
would be so dope. That would be awesome. Would you have what, like two people or something on there?
Yeah, like two. We did it and it worked out. Like two headliners and in the middle, and then a host.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Because then it's like you can drive. I think you'd like, as a comedian, you feel more comfortable promoting it. You're like, all right, I'm headlining this show, and then it's also like you kind of there's more commitment to it. It's like you have to go now. Like you cannot do the show because your fans will be kind of like, hey, like I kind of bought the ticket for you, so you have to be there. And I don't know, just to differentiate. That's kind of like my long-term plan with it, instead of just being another lineup show.
Yeah, you would stand out, I think, is the biggest thing. It would be I don't know really any other shows that are doing that.
Yeah.
So, especially in the environment that you do shows in, which is like a cool, fun environment,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, dude, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, we'll see. So that we've done one headliner show and it worked out, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
You also know that the whole show is going to be a banging show.
Right. And it's not too long too. Like I think hour and a half is good. 90 minutes.
90 minutes
comedy. Let's get
above
out.
90 minutes is kidnapping.
It is kidnapping. That's very good. Very good. And yeah, because then you're stuck, and then like you ready? I had one time where I got way too generous with letting people go up, and like people kept dropping in, and they're like, "Can I get out?" I was like, "All right." And then it was a good show, but then I was like, I went up there, "You guys ready for 2 more comedians?" And the guy in the front row went, "Fuck," like so loud. And I was like,
dude, I had to learn that hard with the running of the shows. I learned it so hard that by the second show I was running, I had a producer, and I was like, "You do all of that. I don't want to be involved with that anymore because I'm way too nice. I say yes to everybody." And then someone goes up and drops an egg on the freaking show, and I'm like, "Wow, I can't do this anymore."
Yeah.
Now I'm attached to that set. You know, I look like I'm a part of it.
You co-signed it, and also you in a way co-signed for another ask. Like I did it before. Can I do it again?
Exactly. Yeah. And God bless them, but I'll go elsewhere.
What was it like working with the producer? Like what aspects of it did they take off your plate?
They handled the booking.
Okay.
And they sort of they were in their day job was like in television, so they had a much larger list of names to access that I sort of like the upper tier. So she just kind of handled all the booking, and really it was just so that if people asked me to do the show, I could be like, "Oh, I actually don't do that."
Yeah.
But hit up this person and I'm sure we can get you on. Because it felt like, you know, comedians take things personally.
Yeah.
And when you don't book people or think about them, they can, it's all weirdness I'm trying to not deal with.
Yeah. And would they still try to go around her? Well, I think I know who it is, but would they still go around her to try to get to you?
Yeah, but I think that's just because they didn't know I had a booker.
Okay.
And if it was a close friend, of course, I would send the booker their name and be like, "Let's get this person on pretty soon." But it helped a lot, dude. It's definitely something I would recommend.
I think I'm gonna get there soon. I do like designing a good lineup. Like there's a certain art to it. It's like I think this person will follow that person, and it's like you kind of like help build the show, but with that comes a lot of the drawbacks of being hit up.
Yeah. And you do it. Yeah. You have to find a producer that like is pretty knowledgeable with not only bigger comedians, but like, you know, all comedians in this town kind of, because there's so many good ones that aren't huge names.
Yeah.
And you still want to get them on your show. So yeah, she's particularly a good booker and producer. I don't know how it would be with other ones.
No, I've heard she's great. I do worry sometimes. So if like I farm it out to somebody and then they start booking it and they're like, all right, well now I'm just beholden to that other person's like circle and that other person's favors. And that like, so like, are we really,
are you really a team or?
No, not are we a team, but like, am I really alleviating the core problem, which is like making sure we're booking the best we can? Or are we just getting like a different level of people who are annoying that person? You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, there's no right answer. Booking and running comedy shows is a hell you can't escape.
Yeah. Did you watch The Comedy Store, Doc?
I haven't watched it. I've been, I was actually out in the Joshua Tree Desert the last week, kind of getting away from it all.
Nice.
Yeah. Doing a little bit of that. So I haven't watched anything for a little bit, but I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. There's a good part there with Adam talking about how hard it is to book and how you're always like, someone's always upset and like this and that. And like, he probably has the hardest job in comedy.
Yeah.
Like that club with so many spots, with so many people in LA, so many celebrities.
Yeah. Good on that guy I guess, I don't know,
Yeah.
making that club what it is, and yeah, dealing with all that, that's got to be crazy.
What's your
Adam,
like? What's your comedy slash? Like, are you comedy slash actor slash podcaster slash everything?
what's your comedy slash? I like
Yeah.
that. I've never heard that before. Yeah, I'd say comedy slash writer and actor.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think my website says comedian writer stepson
Yeah.
or something like that. You know how it is. It's like, how do you call yourself an actor when I guess I've yet to have like a serious acting role. I've done a couple commercials and
Yeah.
I do acting classes. My friends' sketches and sketches I write and stuff. But so that's why I guess I'd say writer more. I'd say I'm a stand-up comedian, a writer, general performer.
Joe List said something funny. He's like, we say comedian slash actor the way actors say actor slash comedian. Like, neither of us have done either.
I'll never say it again. Now that you put it that way, I'll never say slash actor again. Stand-up comedian and writer, that can be in your stuff if you want me to.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you write?
Write my little pilot scripts, my shorter forms, my longer forms. Mostly, honestly, when I make something like a video or a sketch, I pretty much write it as I go along. I have the idea. But yeah, I write all the stuff that we all need.
Yeah.
Feels like I've been working on them forever.
Yeah. The reel sketches have been doing really well. Like, I got a lot of friends doing those, and they're like really blowing up. Like, they've kind of created like new formats and new types of jokes that fit these like 15-second like TikTok style videos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff I've been trying to do a little more of too.
Yeah.
I think Reels is where it's popping next.
It's popping so big. Like, it's insane. And some of them are so funny. Like, Maddie Chimber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his are like blowing up, and they're like, I enjoy watching them, and there's other ones too. And I saw you posted a couple, and they're great. And you're just like, I always think about film school students, like the pressure they have to like create this perfect like final project that's like, I don't know, an hour or half an hour. And now it's like, well, you could learn a lot of the technique of like editing, shooting, not looking at the camera for like a 15-second video.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what I could just do on my phone as far as shooting it, putting it in this little app Splice, editing it, you can make it look really, really good. And I'm an idiot. I didn't go to film school. I learned all of this, like you said, just through like YouTube videos and doing it over and over again.
Yeah. And
I'm still like learning it. I wouldn't say I'm good at all yet, but I'm at least capable.
Yeah. But we're all practicing with a camera like every moment of our lives. We're watching things shot.
True.
We're taking photos. Like we have a fundamental knowledge of camera-ness in a way that like no other generation has had.
Yeah. I even remember thinking when I'm young, I was like, it'd be cool if you just had like, if I could just film stuff super easily.
Yeah.
And then it happened. But it took me a few years when it was happening to realize that it even had happened. Where I was like, oh my God, I have all this power in my hand.
Yeah.
To do all this stuff. I felt like I still needed a nice camera. I still needed all this stuff. It's like, I have a very nice camera.
You have everything. And now it's a different kind of pressure. Before it's like, if I only had it, you're like, now it's like, now I have it. What do I do?
No. Yeah. Now there's no more excuses,
No more.
You can't be like, if I had that stuff.
If I had a budget, Quentin Tarantino, I would be making that.
Yeah.
There is an argument, I can't remember who said it, but they were like, well, where's this generation's like Apocalypse Now? Like, where is this generation's like Pulp Fiction? Like, having these tools accessible in a way detracts from like the dedication and the all in it takes to make something big that lasts. Like, as good as whatever 15-second sketch you make, that format is only going to be like, okay, you made 100 of those and now you're famous from that format, as opposed to like you made one great piece of art and you're famous from that.
I see that side of it. I do think there's still our tours out there,
Yeah.
Everything is, of course, been a little rounded.
Yeah, consistency is like the new uh, quality.
Yeah.
Because you do one thing, you're like, all right. You do two, it's like, okay, he's doing something. Three, all right, there's something here. And now four is like, all right, cool, I'm clicking through. It's like a podcast, like 5
Yeah.
episodes in, you're like, is this something? And then you're a year in, you're like, all right, I got fans, it's growing. And
then even if you pop from that and you evolve to the next thing, people are like, you changed. You know, I like the old ones you used to make. I like the old you.
yeah,
You're just having a natural sort of artistic progression.
there'll always be that. But I think if you don't change, you don't, like, everything changes so fast. Like, if you're not growing into these new formats or changing what you do, people are like, on to, like, there's no attention. There's no, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a big artistic 180. I'm always surprised when people followed like Miley Cyrus or like people who did like huge changes. You're like, wow, that was like pretty insane.
Yeah.
But they had to be who they were, and if they lost fans, they, gained them on the other side.
Yeah, the whole Disney star turning into just a normal adult and the vicious backlash they receive.
Yeah.
For not being a child Disney star anymore has always been so weird to me.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Yeah, they lose
this... normal adult. Yeah.
Yeah, normal. You're right. I mean, obviously, there's nothing normal about many aspects of their life.
Yeah.
But for them to just start maturing into, oh, look, Hannah Montana's drinking a beer. And everyone's like outraged, even though she's 23 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty insane to grow up in the spotlight. That's what's nice about comedy. It's like you're in the spotlight, but then you go home and nobody cares. Like, there's very few comedians that like people care about off stage.
Yes, I think a lot of people that are not in the comedy world at all think a lot of comedians are like rock stars almost.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what are you doing after the show? Probably going out and, living it up. And it's like, really, I'm probably going to go back to this room and watch cartoons.
Yeah. The post show, like what to do is always like awkward. It's like, do I stay here longer? Do I leave?
Yeah.
That happened to me last night. I was at a show and then I was like, all right, it's 9:30. I guess I'll go home. And then I was like, I'll drive by the Comedy Store, and there was no parking. So I was like, I'm not going to get out. So
I've done that 100 times.
I just kept going. I was like, and then I saw a bunch of my friends there. I was like, God damn it. Why didn't I just stop? I'm such a, I let parking ruin my life.
I always do that with the store. I don't know why I think there's ever going to be just easy parking. There never is.
Yeah.
But I still,
I saw one that was pretty good and I snobbed it out. I'm like, that's too far. That's a block. I'm not. I had to U-turn. I was like, I just got caught up in the momentum. I'm like, I'll just go home.
Yeah. It's past Pink Dot, I don't think it's a past Pink Dot kind of night.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I was going the other way, so I passed it. I was like, oh, it looks kind of not too busy. Like I could probably, hang out for a bit. And then, the parking thing killed me. But I mean, and then last time I stopped by, they're like, do you want to do comedy? I was like, yeah, let's go do it. So I was like, doing these stupid things like stopping by, like can be helpful.
Oh yeah, dude. I've had so many of those moments where I didn't want to go to something, maybe even a mic.
Yeah.
And I go and something at the mic like that is significant will happen.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't even imagine having not gone to that.
Yeah. This podcast, I saw you at the mic. I'm like, I should get Michael on the pod.
There it is, dude.
Yeah.
I could have just not gone.
1 minute we're kicking sand between our toes at a beach mic. But I will say I went back to, that was the mic we did, and I went back to the show, and their show was fire. It was really
their show's pretty good.
Yeah. It was you got a lot more reaction. It wasn't as windy too. So like you could it wasn't like in between the, no laughs, but it was a good show, and they really care. And they've been helping me out with the Comedy Bunker too, and they really know what they're doing. So
nice.
Yeah. Did you have a manager or agent when you were getting these things like Conan and the NBC Bring the Funny, or was that your own outreach, or how did that all come together?
Yeah, I had a manager. I have a manager who
right.
I've had her since I was very lucky. I had her since like the first week I moved to LA.
Nice.
But I still think Bring the Funny still came from just a random phone call from someone who was a producer on the show and had seen my Conan or something.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I guess it was. I mean, after that, of course, my manager helped me with everything else. But yeah, it seems like this stuff is. And Conan was more of a. I did a comedy festival where some of those people saw me. So that was. I don't really know if. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're there to get you like opportunities, like auditions and stuff. But as far as just getting on a show, that seems to have just come randomly.
Like the universe?
Yeah, it seems like the universe.
Yeah.
You know? As corny as that sounds, but
yeah. I mean, a lot of it is that. I mean, life happens and you're like, who knows? You do that one festival, you get it. You don't do it, you don't get, like, is it like that? Kind of, yes. Who knows?
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the corniness. It's the universe. You put it out and you get it back. Who knows?
Who knows? What are some of your comedy? We always do comedy goals, and then once it got to quarantine, it gets a little weird, but it's still, I think, worthwhile putting out there. Like, what are your goals for the next year? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I was actually listening to Chappelle Lacey's episode. He's a buddy of mine.
Oh, I love Chappelle.
Started in Arizona together.
Yeah.
His answer to this was what? Like, I want to stay curious or some like heady, awesome answer like that.
Right.
So now I'm trying to think of my cool answer.
Yeah.
But specific comedy goals, I would just like to reach the potential I think I see for myself.
Mm-hmm.
That I probably know I could do if I work as hard as I can and don't, get lost in some nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be that. And then my comedy goal since the beginning has always just been to not get a real job.
Nice.
That is pretty much the driving force behind. I don't consider any job in the comedy world a real job.
Have you had a real job?
I've had plenty of real jobs, and they're terrible, terrible things. It's very motivating. I'll work very hard to not work very hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
What's the worst real job you've had?
The worst real job
Smoothie
I had.
King?
Movie King?
No, Smoothie King?
Smoothie King? Never did a Smoothie King. I was a busboy at plenty of places that I hated. In college, I was a busboy, and they would have me open on all the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So on Saturday morning, I'm there at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm hungover. I feel like I want to die. Not too long ago, I built a pond. That was just like a temporary job, but it was like actual, like I was running the heavy machinery and stuff, and like the machines that beep when you back up and stuff like that.
Like a digger?
That shit. Yeah, like a digger.
That's like a kid dream to dig.
It was like a legit digging, hard work job.
Yeah.
I did it just for a week. It was the hours that, it's you waking up at the crack of dawn and you're working until the sun goes down. God bless people that do that, because that shit was hard.
That's a real job.
Like, that's a real job, and I really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I'll work very hard to not do that.
Right. I'll work just as hard not doing that.
Yes.
I love it. One thing I was thinking about that I might keep asking on this pod was like, what are the things that like you would have or would eliminate that make your career better? Like, I don't know, like stop drinking, or like coffee, or whatever it is. Or it doesn't need to be consumable, but things like you remove to get closer to your goals.
Something that's always held me back has been, and this is my entire life, and I think it ties in with why I started comedy. I have this general sense of embarrassment all the time. It's less so now, I think, as you come into yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, I didn't know where to stand, didn't know where to look, didn't really know. I was just, I felt like I wouldn't come across the way I intended ever. And that would make me not take certain risks, not go to things, not want to be. I would be very, sort of a hermit.
Yeah.
And I think that what I do, I've realized I just get frustrated over something for years, and then it boils, and then a huge significant change happens in my life, like a 90-degree turn. Like I start stand-up comedy because I literally shake from the idea of raising my hand in class. And I'm like, this is dumb. I think I have good things to say.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm so scared to say them. So I just did the most overcorrection of that ever by doing stand-up. So I would say not giving a fuck about what people think a lot. I wish I could do that a lot more. And I'm getting a lot better at it. And I think that's just age and maturity. But that's something I've always noticed has been my big. And then, I could drink less coffee too.
Yeah.
I have insomnia, but I'm drinking coffee at 6 p.m. It's like these dots connect, Michael,
Totally. I thought today I was like, I'm only going to do decaf. And I had 2 decafs. I'm like, give me the real thing. I can't.
Yeah. I got a podcast with Latif today. Give me the 4 shots.
Yeah, let's get
shots.
All cylinders firing.
Yeah.
It's interesting because so much of comedy is being hyper aware of every movement, everything you do on stage can be part of the joke, and you can analyze that, and it's like, and then it also is awkward too, because then if you take that off stage, you're like, I've totally been there. Even when we were at the beach mic and we were standing in that circle with a couple of the comedians, I thought the same thing. I'm like, should I be standing here? Am I too close?
Yeah,
should I back up? I think I should sit down now. I think I should.
And it's all just nonsense that takes up space in your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have a great set on top of the world until I walk right off stage and someone says great set, and then I fumble the response to their compliment.
Yeah.
I'll think about that for a week. I'll forget the set I just had.
Yeah.
And I'll think about, I bet they think I'm weird because of that strange handshake or some dumb shit like that. When now I just got to get to a point, I don't give a fuck if they think that I'm weird. They probably don't. They're not thinking about me at all.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. No one's thinking about us.
Right.
As much as we think they are.
I'm still thinking about the last show I did. I brought up Fahim Anwar, and the Invisalign has these things on the bottom that pushes your lip a little bit forward while it's in. And it's harder to do Fs, and I flubbed it. I was like, the next comedian is Fahim Anwar. And I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, I can't believe I flubbed his name.
Yeah, dude. I overthink everything that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Every small thing, I'll overthink to death. Giant things, like my car needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
I can blow
who cares?
That off for
engine light,
a long
nobody
time.
cares. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think, it sounds so corny, but I think that's why I really love stand-up, is because it is one of the few, maybe the only place in the world where you can come across exactly as you intend to.
Yeah.
Where there's not a ping pong match, really. It's you, and people have to listen to you, and you get to say the words and express yourself exactly like you want and come across exactly as you've intended, which the rest of life seems like trying to do that really hard. Yeah.
Right. That is spoken as a true comedian right there. Like, you're going to listen to me how I want. That's it.
Yes.
You're going to laugh when I tell you to laugh. And then I'm going to leave and you're going to go home.
Yes. Yeah.
And
exactly.
You'll have a great time. And I'll think about every mistake I made all night.
I'll walk through the crowd and someone will say nice, and I'll be like, and then I'll just think about that on my drive home.
Do you think that's like, do you have anxiety? Is that part of it?
Yeah, I think I have some anxiety. I mean, who doesn't, Yeah. Especially in comedy. Everyone's got a darn anxiety thing. I wouldn't say I have a crippling disorder.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can definitely, my girlfriend, some of the things that I just get myself caught up with, it'll rob a whole day of me thinking about this thing that to her, she just can't even, it seems so stupid to be thinking about. And she's right. She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that, I definitely have anxiety, lots of anxiety, but not in like I don't take like medication for it or something. I don't think I would need that.
Yeah. I think a baseline level of anxiety comes with the territory.
Yeah.
It's like, but it can spiral out of control with like too much coffee or too much overanalyzing or too much.
Yeah.
This
too
stuff.
much overanalyzing, too much. Yeah. Not taking a break.
Yeah.
All that stuff. All of a sudden you send an email.
Not working out.
It seems like not work. Just being a piece. Isn't it funny that when you're being a piece of shit, you feel worse about everything in general?
Yeah.
You're not working out. You're drinking too much coffee. Maybe you're smoking a little too much pot. You know? Yeah.
Right. Then you open up the email and the snacks, and you're like, why is this getting worse? Like. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Michael, thank you so much for doing the podcast. Where do people find you on the socials, the medias, the YouTubes?
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude. Yeah.
MichaelLongfellow.com has pretty much everything as far as my live dates and stuff like that. Instagram, Michael Longfellow. Twitter, Longfellow. Follow me on TikTok.
TikTok star.
Yeah, dude, I've been getting up on the talk.
Have you done a dance?
I haven't done a dance, so I just post stand-up clips.
Okay. It's better than dancing.
Dude, maybe I should get into the dance. I don't know.
No.
No. Yeah,
stand-up clips, TikTok. Thanks again. And
dude, thank you.
I'll see you at a show soon.
Yeah, man. I hope so.
All right, take care.
All right, later.